it's Jessie. Today I'm going to talk to you about my top 10 favorite reads of 2015. I read a lot this year, and so yeah, in no particular order, let's get to the books. And I'm also not going to go deep in plot points because I'm bad at summarizing things, and then the video will be really long if I talk about every... First on my list, in no particular order, is The Awakened by Sarah Elizabeth Santana. This, if you are interested in anything with the zombie apocalypse, a completely badass female character, then I would definitely recommend that you pick this book up. Next we have Venom by Fiona Paul. This is I don't know how to describe it. It takes place in like century Venice, Italy, and so it's kind of like a murder mystery. I read this on a plane ride last summer, well, summer of 2015, like August, when I was going to visit a friend in Colorado, and I just loved it. I read it the entire plane ride, and yeah, I just ordered the second one too, so I can't wait to read it. Next, this one was kindly sent to me by Simon & Schuster. It is called Tales from the Back Row by Amy Odell. It's the an editor of Fashion and Cosmopolitan, and so she started out just writing, and she got a job, and like she didn't know anything about fashion, and it just goes through her career and how she rose up into the fashion world and got to work at Cosmopolitan. I loved Amy's writing, and I loved to hear her story, and it was really, she's so funny, and I really loved it. I had the audiobook too, so I listened to that while I read it, so it was really fun and enjoyable and really educational about the fashion world. I'm going to do these next two together because they're kind of like in the same category. I read these in the month of October because they're kind of like creepy-ish books. And so first we have The Dead Girls of Hysteria Hall by Katie Allender. I had been looking at this book forever and had heard so much, along with this one, Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. I know I would pronounce names wrong. And so if you're looking for like, this one is about a girl who her aunt sends her a letter and she inherits her house. Her aunt passed away. And so she goes there and she finds out it's an insane asylum. And so yeah, that's awesome. And this one, it's a bit more complicated, so I'm not going to get into detail. I kind of went into this one without knowing anything. I just got recommendations from people saying it was good, so I picked it up. So it's kind of nice to go into this one without knowing. Illuminate. Next we have the most anticipated read of mine for 2015. It's a long story of how I got the arc of it. It was at Comic-Con, and I kept going back to the Penguin booth table, and the girl just kept denying me, wouldn't give me Illuminate. And so finally I went over to Margot at Epic Reads, who was so kind and gave me her copy, but then later I ended up getting my own, and I gave the copy back to Margot, of course. Thanks, Margot, that was so nice of you. So I actually teared up when I got it in my hands, and I read it right after I got home and exhausted from Comic-Con. I read it in a day, and guys, if you love sci-fi mixed with like zombie-ish type things, this book is amazing. Next we have a Western novel, Vengeance Road by Erin Bauman. This is kind of like one of the first Western novels I read, and I loved it. It's about this girl named, I forgot her name, Kate, and she disguises herself as a boy and leaves her home after her father. She comes home and finds her father murdered. And so she's trying to solve out this mystery, trying to seek vengeance, why these people came and killed her father. And it's a really, really great, enjoyable, fun story. And I kind of wish this one would actually be a movie because it's really good. Next, we have one of my all-time favorites that I read this year, called The Pan by Matthew Aldridge. Matthew is kind of a friend of mine. If you guys don't know him, you should follow him on Instagram. He was actually like the stunt double for 4 and Divergent. He's had a lot of really cool jobs, like he was a stunt double for Finnick 2. And he's a writer. He has another book too. I have not read it yet, but I picked up this one because you guys all know that I am obsessed with Peter Pan. And so this is such an amazing, amazing, high action-packed book that's such a twist on Peter Pan. Like, you know, I love it. And I've read so many Peter Pan books, but there's so many letdowns. This one definitely didn't let me down. It's just so good. Next we have The Diviners by Libba Bray. I loved it so much that I'm making my dad read it, so I currently don't have the book in my hands, but I have the second one that I also read in 2015 called Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray, the second book in the Diviners series. And oh my gosh, this is one of my new favorite series. You guys have probably seen the photos that I had on Instagram that were kind of inspired by the series, 1920s. And so I think that if you liked the Mortal Instruments and books kind of like that, you'll definitely really like this series. I know they're kind of intimidating because each book is like over 500 pages, but trust me, they are so good. Which also made this book really enjoyable for me as I had the audiobook as well, so I was like listening to the audiobook and reading at the same time. And the audiobook is one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to. Like, you just have to like the characters like Sam Lloyd, you just have to hear their voices in the audiobook, and whoever narrated it did an amazing job. It was so good. And last but not least, most of you, or many of you probably know that one of my favorite authors is Susan Young. She wrote the Program series, which I really enjoyed. And so one of my top anticipated books of 2015 was a new release of hers called Hotel Ruby. And thank you so much to Simon & Schuster. I asked for a copy ahead of time in ARC, and they gladly sent it to me. And once I had it in my hands, I literally read it in a few hours. It is so good. And I don't cry much when I read, and so this is one of the first books that made me cry in a really long time. Like, I walked into my dad's bedroom, he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I just finished it." So yeah, I made my dad read this one too, and he loved it. And it's hard to get my dad to like books, so he's the real test. And so yeah, I loved it so much I got a finished copy. And if you liked books like, it's kind of like a weird twisted book. It's kind of like Haunted Mansion-y, like Lost-ish. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. But yeah, this was my most anticipated book, like right up next to Illuminae of 2015, and it definitely did not disappoint. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe if you want, and comment below letting me know some of your favorite reads of 2015, and maybe I'll find some that I haven't read. Just recommend me good books.